How much rejection can one fan base endure before the hope turns into pure, unadulterated cynicism? That is the question burning through the veins of every Toronto Blue Jays supporter right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We need to have a serious, unfiltered conversation about what just happened, because the latest news out of the Toronto front office isn't just a disappointment. It is a psychological blow that echoes the ghosts of off-seasons past. We aren't talking about a lack of effort here, and that might be the most frustrating part. We are talking about a swing and a miss so massive it creates a draft in the entire Rogers Center. The report is out. The Blue Jays put a 10-year offer on the table for Kyle Tucker. 10 years, a decade of commitment, a massive financial undertaking designed to plant a flag in the ground and say, "We are contenders." And what happened? Tucker looked at that decade of security, looked at the undeniable talent on the roster, and said no. He chose the Los Angeles Dodgers on a shorter deal. This stings differently than a simple free agency loss. This wasn't about being outbid by money. This feels like a rejection of the project itself. It brings back the trauma of the Shohei Ohtani flight tracking saga, doesn't it? It reinforces a narrative that is becoming dangerously solidified in the minds of the baseball world. That Toronto is the almost team. They are the team that is always in the conversation, always checking in, always finalists, but rarely the ones holding the jersey at the press conference. And to make matters more complicated, the immediate Plan B, Cody Bellinger, has reportedly been dismissed. The Athletic's Mitch Bannon confirmed the Jays aren't particularly interested. So, where does that leave this team? Let's look at the reality of the outfield as it stands. Last season, the outfield rotation was a carousel of mediocrity and unfulfilled potential. You had Miles Straw, Davis Schneider, Nathan Lukes, and Dalton Varsho sharing the load. Let's be honest with each other. While Varsho brings elite defense, the collective offensive output from that group is not striking fear into the hearts of the Yankees or the Orioles. It's functional, but functional doesn't win the American League East. Functional gets you a third-place finish and an early exit. The context here is critical. The window for this core, specifically the Vladdy, Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette era, is not open forever. Every season spent trying to find bargain bin solutions or relying on internal improvements from fringe players is a season wasted. The fans are divided right now. Half of the fan base is ready to march on the front office with pitchforks, demanding heads roll for failing to land a superstar. The other half is looking at the roster and praying that Anthony Santander can bounce back from a poor season and carry the load. But hope is not a strategy. The rejection by Tucker forces a pivot. It forces the front office to look away from the shiny, power-hitting superstars and perhaps look toward a different philosophy entirely. The question isn't just who do we get, it is what kind of team do we want to be? Because right now, the identity of this team is in flux, and the clock is ticking louder than ever. If you can't buy the power, you have to acquire the pest, and there is no greater pest in modern baseball than the man currently wearing a Cleveland Guardians uniform. We are pivoting to the prediction that is gaining serious traction, and frankly, it makes more baseball sense than people realize. We are talking about Steven Kwan. Now, before the home run crowd tunes out, listen to the logic here. The modern game is obsessed with launch, angle, and exit velocity, but the Blue Jays just tried to buy that with Tucker and failed. So, what is the antidote to a lineup that can go cold? It's a guy who simply refuses to get out. According to reports, the Jays checked in on Kwan at the deadline, and the interest hasn't faded. Why? Because Steven Kwan is a unicorn in the era of the three true outcomes. Let's break down the analytics because they are absolutely staggering. We aren't just talking about a good eye. We are talking about surgical precision. Kwan ranks in the 100th percentile for whiff rate. Read that again. Nobody in Major League Baseball swings and misses less than this guy. He is in the 99th percentile for strikeout percentage and the 83rd percentile for chase rate. In a league where pitchers are throwing 100 miles per hour cutters and sweepers that move 2 feet, Steven Kwan is putting the bat on the ball virtually every single time. Imagine the impact of that skill set in the Rogers Center. Think about the chemistry of the lineup. You have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a generational hitter who thrives when there is traffic on the base paths. Who better to set the table for Vladdy than a guy who has a career on-base percentage of .351 and 2 gold gloves to his name? This trade prediction represents a philosophical shift. Acquiring Tucker would have been doubling down on slugging. Acquiring Kwan is an admission that the lineup needs balance. The Blue Jays struggled massively last year with runners in scoring position. Do you know what fixes that? A guy who doesn't strike out. A guy who moves the runner over. A guy who forces the defense to make plays. Comparing Kwan to the current options, Schneider-Luke Straw is night and day. Straw is a defensive wizard with a light bat. Schneider has pop but holes in his swing. Kwan is the total package of consistency. He is under club control through 2027, which fits perfectly with the team's competitive window. However, we have to talk about the cost. This isn't a waiver wire pickup. The Cleveland Guardians operate on efficiency. They don't give away cost-controlled all-stars for free. To get Kwan, the Blue Jays would have to dip into their prospect capital, something they have been hesitant to do. But look at the scenarios. If the Jays enter the season with the current outfield and Santander struggles, and Varsho hits .220, the season is effectively over by June. The AL East is an arms race. The Orioles are young and hungry, the Yankees are always juggernauts, and the Rays find ways to win with zero budget. Standing pat is a death sentence. Bringing in Kwan changes the texture of the team. He makes them annoying to play against. He brings a gritty contact-first approach that can frustrate opposing aces who are used to racking up strikeouts. This is the Moneyball move versus the Galactic move. It might not sell as many jerseys on day one as Kyle Tucker would have, but come October, when you need a single to score the winning run from second, Kwan is the guy you want at the plate. So, we arrive at the crossroads. Do the Blue Jays have the courage to execute a trade that isn't flashy, but might just save their season? The narrative of this offseason has shifted from land a superstar to salvage the roster. Missing out on Kyle Tucker is a bruise on the ego of the franchise. There is no denying that. It signals that Toronto might not be the destination for premium free agents that we all hoped it was. But savvy front offices don't sulk, they adapt. The acquisition of Steven Kwan would not just be a consolation prize, it would be a strategic masterstroke that addresses the glaring holes in the lineup's construction. We are talking about replacing uncertainty in left field with an absolute guarantee of defensive excellence and offensive consistency. Let's project the future for a moment. Picture a lineup where the leadoff hitter is practically guaranteed to make the pitcher work for 6 or 7 pitches and likely end up on first base. That wears down starters. It exposes bullpens earlier in the game. It changes the way Vladdy sees pitches because pitchers are pitching from a stretch immediately. This is how you construct a winning offense, not just by stacking home run hitters, but by stacking skills that complement each other. If the Blue Jays fail to make a move like this, if they roll into opening day with the status quo plus a hope and a prayer that internal options improve, the atmosphere at the Rogers Center is going to turn toxic very quickly. The fans have been patient. They have supported the rebuild almost years and the heartbreak. But patience has a limit. The front office needs to understand that this trade is about more than just stats. It's about signaling intent. It's about showing the locker room, showing Bo and Vladdy, that the organization is serious about winning now. The window is closing, folks. The door is creaking shut. Steven Kwan is the doorstop that keeps it open for a few more years. He brings the energy, the defense, and the contact hitting that this team has desperately lacked. It's time to stop checking in and start checking out with the goods. Now, I want to hear from every single one of you in the comments below. This is the debate of the day. Would you rather the Blue Jays empty the farm system to trade for a contact machine like Steven Kwan, or should they hold on to the prospects and trust the current guys to figure it out? Are you team all in or team wait and see? I have a feeling I know where most of you stand, but surprise me. Smash that like button if you want the front office to wake up, and let's get the discussion raging in the comment section. I'll see you down there.